Let's get into session 12 and talk about conflation and its effect on our trust in science and scientists. Conflation is the practice of treating two or more distinct concepts as if they were one. My sense is that conflation is prevalent in almost all arenas of public discussion. Let's consider a couple of examples to prove the point. I am in favor of DC statehood because I don't think that someone from outside the district should tell us how to educate our kids. This statement conflates education mandates for all the states with DC statehood. If this discussion is truly about innocent people being killed, a war crime, every reporter needs to be questioning Trump's refugee policy. This statement conflates a war crime with immigration and border policies. While in both of these examples the conflated topics have some common intersections, the topics are completely different. Unfortunately, conflation is commonplace across the social, economic, and political spectrum. Conflating topics is an easy trap to fall into when done inadvertently, but across the board, conflation has the potential to make any action or decision subject to condemnation for unassociated reasons, to prevent honest differences on specific topics due to the fusion of separate subjects, to allow superficial or poorly considered conclusions, and finally, to prevent meaningful progress as topics are used to stymie or stalemate action. In reality, conflation, whether intentional or unintentional, can be seen as a form of bullying and as an abuse of the public square for dialogue and discussion. Now, specific to the topic at hand, that conflation of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is a factor in our increasing rejection of science and scientists as oppressive, it is easy to see that much engineering and mathematics, specifically statistics, are being pawned off as science to both science and scientists' discredit. Sheldon of the Big Bang Theory would be livid. Science, engineering, and statistics are three different, distinct, yet very interconnected disciplines. Simply explained, science is a systematic effort to discover or identify measurable and testable first principles of why physical and non-physical events happen the way they happen. Think of Newton and the apple. Engineering, on the other hand, is the application of those first principles to solve real problems through the development and construction of machines that exploit the knowledge of first principles that science provided. Think of Admiral Rickover and nuclear submarines. Statistics, then, is a mathematical method for analyzing sets of data, often used to predict future outcomes or potential actions. Think of the Federal Reserve and prime interest rates. An example that shows the difference and interconnectedness of science with engineering and statistics is your nightly weather forecast. So, meteorology is a field of scientific study of the atmosphere and its phenomena. Meteorologists study weather patterns, atmospheric conditions, and climate changes using satellite data, weather radars, and computers to analyze and understand the causes and first principles of weather science. Weather forecasting then makes use of the understanding of the first principles gained by the science of meteorology to model and forecast what future weather conditions might be. That's engineering. And forecasters and forecasting services like the National Weather Service then use statistics to understand the likelihood that the forecast will occur over some period of time into the future. Statistics. Honestly, the most accurate understanding of the weather and the forecast with the absolute highest probability of occurrence is to look out the window and see what the weather is right now for the next moment. Every forecast further away or further into the future is increasingly less likely to occur. Statistics is not engineering or science. Engineering is not science or statistics. And science is not statistics or engineering. Unfortunately, it appears many people, even highly educated people, conflate the three distinct disciplines and the three distinct sets of practitioners as science. There are many other examples. We conflate immunology and virology with vaccines, and then with public health management. We conflate psychiatry with psychology, and then with mental health counseling and therapy. We conflate astrophysics with aeronautical engineering, and then with space launch management. It is easy to see why this happens. But this type of conflation diminishes all three practices: science, engineering, and statistics, and the associated scientists, engineers, and risk managers practicing them. The misunderstanding that results adds layers of distrust of science and adds to the growing sense that science is an oppressive tool of the power elites. We will continue our discussion regarding the problem with science for profit next session. Aloha.